Done some shorts with these lately. I've had a few questions on them, so I thought I'd go into a little bit more depth with them real quick. The blue bike here, this is a Coleman CT200U. That's all of my bikes are CT200Us. This one has the head off at the moment because it's going to be getting the head ported, polished, and maybe getting some upgraded valve train components. But yeah, this is my Old Faithful bike here. I've used this bike to do 2 of the Corona 100 mini bike enduros, which is a 100-mile mini bike event up in the mountains of Southern Oregon. And this one's done it both times successfully now. This is a Predator 212 non-Hemi engine that is mostly, it's a mildly modified motor engine. If anything, it has an ARC billet rod that is 20 over, I believe. ARC Racing billet flywheel on there, not the 6619. That is for the GX200 engines, not this engine. The non-Hemi is slightly different with some of the parts than some of these other motors, which is probably a different video, but there's a lot of those out there if you're interested. So yeah, billet rod, billet flywheel, 22-pound springs in the head, pretty much stock other than a Mod 2 cam, and it has a NR Racing 0.650 carburetor, bored out carburetor on it. Vented case. This engine, this bike, honestly, with me on it, my top speed on this bike's 55 miles per hour. And that was clocked with my buddy on a Suzuki DRZ 400, and he was pacing me, and we were pacing each other at 55 miles an hour. This is a bike I got from a buddy, also a CT200. This bike is basically all stock. The only thing this bike has really is, I think it has 18-pound valve springs put in it. I painted the bike. I bought it off a friend, and it had a completely bent frame here. Where someone had wrecked it. This was like in like this. It was really bad. It was unrideable, really. So I actually cut the frame, straightened it, and then I gusseted it, strengthened the front end on it. But yeah, mostly stock bike other than the paint. This bike, this engine, this is a bike I built over this winter. Built the engine up. This bike has had the frame reinforced on all the corners here. I put gussets in. They're there on each side and there. This bike has a GX200 clone engine in it. It's a 55 millimeter stroker crank, which takes it from about 196 cc's up to about 208 cc's. And then it has a flat top piston in it. An actual Honda flat top piston. It has an extra long rod. ARC, it's a UT2 piston with a UT2 extra long rod, so it gets a lot of stroke, which this thing's probably realistically around 210 cc's now. And then it has a 14 cc head that's been ported and polished, and then it has stainless steel valves, chromoly push rods, 26-pound springs. It has an NR Racing 252 cam. It has a Dover Power hot rod carburetor that was custom built for this engine setup, vented case, and a 3-stage header pipe, NGK spark plug boot. And I also, when I built this engine, I took out the stock Chinese case bearings. I installed it with actual Honda case bearings for reliability. And so yeah, really great setup on this bike. In fact, this just being a slightly smaller cc, I can tell you right now that this bike gets up and goes faster than this bike does. I've only put maybe 4 hours of ride time on this engine, whereas I've got probably over 20 hours on this engine. So I'm hoping this one's going to hold up to the test of time. And I've debated using this in my Corona 100 event this year. However, it does not have the front suspension, but I could also just take this engine out, put it in this bike. I don't know. This one, I also have, another reason I tore the head off is I'm going to be cleaning it up, but it's also going to be getting the side cover pulled off so I can inspect the rod bearings and see how the rod bearings are looking after 2 100-mile races and numerous other rides. I'm excited to maybe get my hands on a Coleman B200 RSV, the rear suspension that just came out. Something like that could be in the works. We'll see. If I do, I'll be making some video content with that. The only other bike I have is the red one here. This is my daughter's bike. It is bone stock. No modifications have been made to it yet. She's only 11 right now, so she is not quite ready to be cut loose on it quite yet like that, but we'll get there. Oh, one other thing I'd mention is these right here. It's just a catch can I made out of a water bottle. I picked these water bottles up for like $1 at Goodwill, and they work great as a catch can, which is basically the engine's venting from the case to the valve cover. You want it to kind of vent right above your exhaust valve because that oil vapor keeps that cool. And then it vents out the other side of the valve cover there. And that goes to your catch can. The filter set up that way, as your engine's breathing, you're only getting clean air in. This one has one right back here. So basically same kind of setup. I just set this one up back here because this, I did not quite have the room for it up front with the gussets here. So, oh, one other great thing was, got it all painted and I forgot to put the actual Honda cap that I got on, which is the one that seals properly. And the cheap Chinese fuel cap let gasoline spill all over the tank as I was riding. So, probably go back and fix that at some point. So, if you do any of these, go down to your local hardware store and pick up a $20 GX200 Honda fuel cap. It's one of the best upgrades you can get if you care about trying to keep your bike clean and not have your gas spill out on the ground.